Well, I'm in luck, everybody. Not only do I historically love the Royal Rumble, I think the Royal Rumble might be the greatest pay-per-view that's ever been put together. The match is great. Historically, this is what I like the most when it comes to wrestling. The Royal Rumble is so much fun. So that's great. Plus, I like bad wrestling. I love, don't confuse this series that I'm doing here where I watch bad wrestling shows as some kind of form of self-torture. I love this stuff, man. The more of a train wreck it is, the more I'm having fun with it. I think it's great. It's live TV. Stuff goes wrong. I don't know what's wrong with this event. I don't know why this is the lowest rated Royal Rumble on cagematch.net. But that's what this is. The Royal Rumble 2022 in St. Louis, Missouri is the lowest rated Royal Rumble on cagematch.net right now. And I'm going to watch it, and we're going to go match by match. I'm going to tell you my ratings on this, and I'm just going to be honest. I'm just going to watch this. I believe I watched this when it came out. It left no impression on me whatsoever. I have no recollection of any of this, of the event in general. Maybe as I watch it, some stuff will come back to me from when I watched it the first time around. And yeah, it's rated it at a 10 stars. It has 2.72. So this thing is just a garbage rating. But, you know, who knows, man? I like stuff that other people don't like. Maybe I'm going to love this. You let me know down in the comments below as we go along what you liked about this, what you didn't like about this. Is this your lowest rated Royal Rumble? I'm going to tell you right off the bat, man, this opener is going to be rough. Roman Reigns is coming out. It's like 500 days into his title reign, and it ain't happening here, guys. Like this ain't going to be it. So I don't know. We're open. There's no one that is watching this that is thinking that Roman Reigns is going to drop the belt at the start of the 2022 Royal Rumble. It's just not going to happen. So one thing needs to happen here for this match to be any good is it needs to be a good match. The story ain't working because there ain't no story to tell. The story has already been told, and that's Roman Reigns is winning. And I know I'm speaking about that from the future, but people in the past, everybody knew that this wasn't going to be the moment. They're not going to end Roman Reigns' epic title reign in the opening match of the Royal Rumble. If they did, maybe they should have just pulled it right here. And then people would have thought something about this show. Maybe it wouldn't have such a low rating. But man, if this isn't a banger, then we already got a problem to start the show. We basically got, it's going through the motions, the wrestling match. Oh, no, they didn't. No, oh my God. Wow. All right. So the rating of this pay-per-view is starting to come into focus for me. But all right, before we get to the finish of this match, I gotta talk about the start, because Seth Rollins is amazing here. And I didn't know it was going to be, I haven't looked into, I'm going to tell you right now, as I'm watching this, I didn't do any research. I didn't look up the card. I'm just watching this as if I turned it on back on the day it happened and I wasn't paying attention to anything, right? And I didn't know it was going to be Seth Rollins. As soon as it's Seth Rollins and he comes out in the Shield gear, comes out through the audience to the Shield theme, I'm thinking that it could happen. Right? If I'm putting myself there in the arena or there in the moment, I am absolutely thinking that this could be it. And watching this match, I think this should have been it. I mean, we would have missed a lot of stuff. I can't say to go back to the past and say, hey, you know, Seth should have broken the streak right here in 2022. Maybe, though. I'm sure you could have still done everything else that happened with Roman. I don't think he needs to have both belts for that to happen. I don't know, guys. I'm not a WWE scholar here, but I know good wrestling when I see it. And I'm going to give you the rating right now. This is a 5-star match. This is absolutely a 5-star match with a 1-star finish. And if you don't remember what happens here, is Seth Rollins basically puts on a clinic with Roman. This is the best Roman Reigns match that I've seen, short of Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, which was pretty great as well. I mean, Seth carries, just like, you know, Cody carried at WrestleMania, but he does great. I love the spear into pedigree counter is really cool. Seth and Roman seems way more comfortable wrestling Seth than a lot of other people as far as how violent Roman Reigns comes off during this, to the point where Roman chokes out Seth, even though Seth has got his hand on the ropes. He exceeds a 5 count and it ends in a disqualification. So, all right, this is what we got. Show kicks off. It's Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, and it ends in a DQ. The air has literally been sucked out of the arena. I guarantee you a good deal of this arena thought that this was going to be the moment. Looking back, you kind of know it's opening up the Royal Rumble. They're talking about all the other records that Roman, this is at 500 days. He's going another 500 days. He's going to 1,000 days. This was never going to be it, but maybe it should have been. And maybe that's why this show has such a low rating. In the first 26 minutes, this show is already in the toilet basically for at least half of the people watching it. So I kind of get the bad rating at this point. Wow. The Women's Royal Rumble match at the Royal Rumble 2022 is something else, man. Starting to see the low rating reflected in the quality of this match. It is a lot of women hanging on ropes for the first 1 hour of this match. Is that accurate? Yes, 1 hour. I've been watching this match for an hour, and mostly I have seen women just hanging off of ropes. I haven't seen very many spots at all. A lot of entrants coming in and being instantly thrown over. And then this is awful. It's mostly just a wide shot of the ring, so you can clearly see everyone not being thrown over the top and not really fighting. Oh my God. All right. So I'm going to run down the entrants, and I've seen the final 5 on the screen right now over here. Ronda Rousey is the big story, and nothing really much happens until that happens. It starts off with Sasha Banks and Melina. Sasha Banks is kicked out of this way early. Once again, another moment that just kind of sucks all the energy right out of the room. That seems to be a trend with this pay-per-view, premium live event, is things that just take the crowd energy level to 0 and then keep them there for a prolonged amount of time, which is probably bad for your pay-per-view, for your big event. I don't know. Tamina comes in at 3. She is eliminated way early, so that threat is gone. You got a lot of women coming in. Here's the problem. I've seen this a lot in WWE with the Women's Royal Rumble, where they only got like 10 women on the roster, and then it comes to Royal Rumble time, and they gotta like dredge up 20 other women from retirement or other wrestling organizations, or just pull them off the street. I don't know. Kelly, Aaliyah, Liv Morgan comes in. All right, Liv Morgan, I'm like, oh cool. Liv Morgan doesn't do anything, and she gets thrown out almost off camera. Queen Zelina, I literally cannot remember how she was eliminated. She was in there for a moment. Bianca Belair, okay, she makes it to the final 5. Cool. And she does she do anything? No, I can't remember a thing that she did. Michelle McCool lasted for a phenomenally long time. Got ejected. Sonya Deville comes out and she jumps on commentary, which I thought would be irritating, but I actually kind of liked it. There's a little story there with Sonya Deville. It's one of the high spots, actually. It's kind of like, oh, something's happening for a change. So that's good. Natalya comes out. She gets thrown out at the very end. So she comes in at 12 and she gets thrown at the end. So she has a good run. But then she gets like thrown out. It seems like it's a surprise to her. Like maybe it wasn't planned. So she runs back in. She gets thrown out again, I guess in the planned way. Cameron comes in. Naomi was a huge letdown. Normally Naomi at least tries to attempt some kind of thing where she gets thrown out, but she lands on a chair or something and she works her way back in. It's kind of a fun thing. You kind of expect something fun to happen when Naomi's about to get eliminated. No, she's just thrown out. So none of that happens. I don't know if they done it in previous years or if that, I'm pretty sure it happened in previous years. I don't know. Carmella comes in. Rhea Ripley makes it to the end. We know Rhea Ripley's a big deal. She has like all the women when they come in, they get to do like 2 things and then it's over to the ropes. Mostly they're on the ropes. Charlotte Flair, I don't even think she gets to do things when she comes in. I barely know that Charlotte Flair is in this. It's ridiculous. In fact, I'm looking at the final women in the ring and I don't even see Charlotte Flair. I don't know where she is. I don't think she's been eliminated, but she's barely present. Ivory comes in and she's part of the, I had to Google it because I know people talk about it, right to censor. So she's part, but she comes out with a microphone and she's just in the ring and then out of the ring. A lot of the legendary women, Hall of Famers that come out, it's just they're right in the ring and then right out of the ring. They're clearly there as filler and they don't even try. An exception to that is the Bella Twins. The Bella Twins are kind of one of the more exciting parts of this and enjoyable parts of this. So that's nice. Brie Bella is interesting. When she comes in, she gets a yes chant going. Her husband's Bryan Danielson, right? And that was kind of fun for a moment. And then it squashed. Mickie James comes out. Alicia Fox. Nikki ASH. I don't even remember how she was eliminated, but she comes out and doesn't really do much. Summer Rae. Nikki Bella, the other Bella twin, comes out. They have some drama when they get eliminated. Like I said, it's one of the more fun parts of this whole thing is the whole kind of story between the Bella twins. I like that. Sarah Logan. Lita is really cool, and she's in like the final 6 or whatever, so that's good to see. Mighty Molly. Oh, yeah. Nikki ASH like goes off on Mighty Molly, and she's one of the ones who comes out and just gets thrown out. I don't know. And then Ronda Rousey, of course, comes out. And I think she's like a surprise entrant or whatever. It's probably a very poorly kept secret at the time. I don't know. You got to let me know down in the comments. And she's a big deal. Ronda Rousey is getting all her shit in. Like I said, for a lot of the other women, they're not really getting to do their stuff. But Ronda Rousey's doing all her shit. She's double eliminating people. She's choking. Basically, anybody who Ronda Rousey gets her hands on is getting fucked up and thrown out of the ring. And she's looking like a total badass. I, in fact, really like this presentation of Ronda Rousey. I like her ring gear. I like what's going on here. Shotzi comes in, hasn't done much. And then Shayna Baszler comes into like a big kind of like, oh shit reaction because like she's friends with Ronda Rousey. So everyone's suspecting that it's going to come down to these two or something. At least that's the feeling. Anyways, up until this point, I'm giving this match a big old 1H or star or whatever the hell you want to call that, because it was tedious as all hell. An hour sitting here basically just like the only thing positive I can say about it is they didn't seem to be adhering to like the 3-minute rule or whatever. Just as soon as things got boring, they were like, send another one out, we don't care. Nobody keeps track of this shit. And because like Sasha, like number 2, like really fast. Melina, Sasha just eliminates Melina, and they were just like, send the next one out. Don't let her just hang around the ring. We don't want this pay-per-view to last 6 hours. So let's keep it moving. So that's the only thing I could say about it is that the entrances kind of came fast, but with so many of the women just kind of entering the ring and being thrown out, and there's no room for any kind of storytelling. And normally I expect like some really cool kind of story beats throughout the Royal Rumble. It's a great opportunity to tell these stories, and there's no stories being told here other than the couple that I mentioned with Sonya Deville and like the Bella twins. There's definitely some cool stuff going on there, but it's not enough to save this thing. It's a boring slog up until this point. No, I can't even, I just, that's a fucking 1, dude. That stays at 1 so goddamn hard. Wow. The ending of the match goes really fast. Like, there's no match. Ronda Rousey just squashes everybody, including Charlotte Flair. Holy shit, this thing's a stinker. The only thing I can say is the crowd seems to love it, so that's great, because that's not gonna stick for Ronda Rousey. She is not gonna maintain that kind of heat. She looks like a million fucking bucks during this thing. She looks great. This Royal Rumble match was designed to make Ronda Rousey look like an absolute beast, and it does that. But it does very little for anyone else. And for that, I got to give it a 1. It's a great vehicle for Ronda Rousey, but for every other woman, 29 other women are basically just like thrown under the bus so that Ronda Rousey can look great. I guess anybody that got eliminated before the final 5 or whatever almost is lucky that they didn't just get like destroyed by Ronda Rousey. But everybody who was left in this match just absolutely gets buried, destroyed, annihilated by the baddest woman on the planet. So if you're a big Ronda Rousey fan, then this match, you're probably going to give it a high rating. I like Ronda Rousey, but I like good wrestling matches better. Becky Lynch, and I'm not calling her that. I'm calling her Piper. Okay, I'm calling her Piper Niven. I'm not. Yeah, it really gets annoying on commentary, the whole dewdrop thing. Sounds horrible. Piper Niven, okay? Great match. As far as what they try to do, it's great. A lot of overselling on the mispins. It's pretty short. There's not a lot of time here. I don't want to badmouth this too much, because I think on a different show with better things surrounding this, I wouldn't be so negative on it. And really, Piper does a great job. Most of this match is Piper. Becky isn't really doing a lot of heavy lifting here, literally and figuratively. At the match is won with a manhandle slam, like off the second rope, which is, basically Piper taking a shot there. I'm going to give it a 2. That's a definitely 2-star match. I can't give it a 3. One of the problems is you don't really know who you're rooting for. I think by the end, it's all Becky. And I guess Becky is playing heel here, but that's not working. Everyone loves Becky Lynch. She can't, the heel thing isn't working here. She'd have to be way worse. She doesn't really wrestle as a heel. The psychology bit is missing there for her to be more heelish. Piper, I think we're supposed to feel for her, and I kind of do. And there's kind of a spot there where she fights out of the disarmer, where you get some momentum, and we're kind of getting the underdog thing going on, but it just never really takes hold. It doesn't really work. I don't know what's missing about this, but it's not a great match. Like I said, I'm gonna go with a 2, whereas the other matches were more in that 1 category. Wow, man, I am. The more I watch this show, the more I understand its bad rating, and. Wow, Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, if we can even call it that. So Brock Lesnar's the champion coming down to the ring. Paul Heyman's by his side. The match starts off really good. And when this match started off, I think we were headed towards a different rating. I think we were headed towards a different outcome. I wanted to see a wrestling. This whole pay-per-view, I've been waiting for some wrestling to break out. And we had it in the first match. Seth did great against Rollins. Some really solid wrestling, some really solid in-ring work, and it just hasn't happened since then. It's been a lot of bullshit, and that's what this match is. A whole lot of bullshit. We got Ref Bump City. The ref is gets a double bump, and he's out, and I guess Brock looks strong because he's able to pin Bobby Lashley. We're not worried about Brock Lesnar looking strong, are we, guys? Are we actually, in 2022, is anyone worried about Brock Lesnar looking strong? And we're still worried about that. So he looks strong. All right, good deal. Brock Lesnar looks strong. Roman Reigns comes out. Now it's a Roman Reigns match. And Paul Heyman turns on Brock Lesnar, hands the belt to Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, this is after Roman Reigns has hit Brock Lesnar with the spear, which is just the most devastating move in all of wrestling. And then he hits him with the belt. And then Bobby Lashley's the new champion, but we all know where this is headed. I can't give that higher than a 1. Can you give that higher than a 1? Was anybody happy with this? Is this where we want to go? We know what all this leads to now, but man, at the time and even in retrospect, this is just disappointing. We got, Bobby Lashley's the face, and he wins basically by cheating. He didn't do the cheating, but he wins that way. It feels like the match should have carried on after this. This shouldn't have been the finish. Brock should have kicked out of that. If we're worried about making Brock look strong, which I don't know if we are anymore now that I'm talking about it, 1 spear, 1 hit with the belt, and the Beast Incarnate is taken out after, what did Bobby Lashley got in like a couple of suplexes on him and the Hurt Lock? He got the Hurt Lock on him, but I don't know. It just seems like Bobby Lashley should have had to earn that a little more. Not that he hasn't earned it. He looks great here, but I don't know. It's a very disappointing match. It's a very disappointing finish. This pay-per-view sucks. Something a little different, and I liked it, and this was a very nice surprise. We got The Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Miz and Mrs., and we got a solid wrestling match here. This is one of the best matches that I've seen here outside of, Roman versus Seth, which I think just had a little extra to take it over the top, a little extra stakes, a little extra drama, and that's what was kind of missing here from elevating this. But solid wrestling match. Everything was really good defined roles, nice psychology, good storytelling. I had a lot of fun with this. I'm going to put this up to a 3 out of 5. Maybe it should even be a 4. I mean, you can argue with me down in the comments. It's your opinion versus mine. I would just say it was missing just a couple of elements to bring it up and over the top. I think we get that later on. I do remember this feud, and I think it goes to some more extreme places and to kind of take it up over the top. But I like that we have a clean finish for once here. We have a chance here for a rotten finish where Beth gets hit with a brick. But I like the intergender wrestling angle of this. It's really cool. Great match. Beth Phoenix comes out looking crazy strong, which is interesting. Just fun, good match in the middle of a very lackluster pay-per-view. I kind of feel rejuvenated now. All right, the Men's Royal Rumble match. I actually really enjoyed this until I didn't, and I think my impression of this is a little different from what most people's impression is, and from even the company, which is interesting. A lot of fun spots, a lot of cool stuff going on. It opens up with AJ Styles and Nakamura. Nakamura does fuck all, dude. He doesn't do anything in this, and he's eliminated in off camera. I don't even remember it at all. AJ Styles, I think if you would have traded spots, I mean, I guess you lose the pop, but you know what? Who cares? If you would have traded an early position, maybe not position number 1, AJ Styles and Shane McMahon, that would have been better. To see AJ Styles come in like a house of fire, or even Bad Bunny. And that's what really detracts from this whole experience for me, are the celebrities, other than Johnny Knoxville. Johnny Knoxville is fun. He comes in, gets his shit in, and then he gets out, and there's nothing wrong with it. It kind of reminds me of the appearances that we had from the women during the women's match, except there was more story to it, so it was more enjoyable. There was some build to it. There was a whole thing going on. Sami Zayn was clearly having fun with that. It was going to build to even more. I actually love that Jackass match that goes down later on, so I can't be mad about that. But AJ Styles is a real disappointment. bigger star. I just would have, I don't know, I would have been happy if AJ Styles would have won this whole thing from the number 1 position. I think that would have been a real cool story and an addition to his legacy, but whatever, it wasn't to be. He does get eliminated. Austin Theory comes in. Robert Roode comes in. Robert Roode was exciting for me. I love Robert Roode, but doesn't really go anywhere. Ridge Holland, Montez Ford, who gets a couple of high spots before he gets eliminated. Damian Priest comes in, but he's not of the stature that he is now, so not much gets done with him. Sami Zayn gets the Johnny Knoxville spot, which is really fun with them coming in right back to back. That kind of kept me checked into it. Angelo Dawkins comes in, but does like nothing at all. Omos is a big moment. Omos is really cool in this. This might be my favorite appearance that I've ever seen of Omos. The way he was so dominant and it changes the whole tone of the match and everybody has to work to get him out. Ricochet comes in, hits like a missile drop kick on Omos from the apron. That's super cool. Mysterio's in there. Happy Corbin gets a whole story moment going on, which is really cool. Dolph Ziggler comes in. They gloss right over him. He doesn't get much in. Sheamus appears once again, not a big deal. Rick Boogs looks great, gets to do some spots, looks strong, gets eliminated. Madcap Moss, the whole story. You got Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. They're eliminating everybody. They're teaming up. And they get their comeuppance later when Drew McIntyre comes in and he gets super violent on them. It's just really cool. It's like, I like stuff to happen during the Royal Rumble, and stuff happened during this Royal Rumble. I cannot give this the same rating as the Women's Royal Rumble. The Women's Royal Rumble feels like a setup, and we're waiting around for Ronda Rousey to come in and just kick everyone's ass. And I don't really feel like we're waiting for that here. I do feel like everybody kind of has a shot. At least the big players, I feel, have an opportunity to win this until they don't, but we'll get to that. Riddle comes in. Riddle looks pretty weak in this thing. Riddle is booked very poorly in this. He has like one RKO that he gets off, but other than that, he doesn't get much time to shine. Same with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens probably gets done the dirtiest. Out of everybody in this Rumble, Kevin Owens really gets the short end of this. I'm glad they make it up to him later with the Steve Austin thing at Mania. I think that was great for him. But man, this would get me eyeballing the door in that position as far as, the treatment. Kofi Kingston comes in. That's exciting. Oh, I think earlier I said Dominic Mysterio, but in my mind I thought Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio comes in at this point. Dominic is not the mega heel that he is today, so he didn't really get much to do. Rey Mysterio, not much going on either. Actually, most of the action is saved for when Bad Bunny comes in at this point, which, okay, we got to talk about this. This is an easy Royal Rumble for me. I could give this thing a 1-star rank and no one would argue with me, but all right, because here's the deal. Shane McMahon was fired over this. If you don't know the story on this, Shane McMahon came into this as the producer for this Royal Rumble, kind of like as a favor from his father. And this is before Triple H was really, it's kind of during that shift in power between Triple H and Vince McMahon. And somehow Shane McMahon got a producer credit on this thing and got control over this thing. He came in very self-centered. It was all about him. This is from reports and backstage. You hear this all over the place. This is a well-known story at this point. He came in, thought it was all about him, didn't know what anyone else was doing, didn't care about anybody else's storylines or who these guys were or what needed to be accomplished in the Royal Rumble from a story perspective. Just started moving things around, gave himself a good position, and then booked himself to go over everybody. It was his idea to come in when he came in and look strong against who he looked strong against. And that was just crazy. And I believe it was his intention to win this thing and go on to WrestleMania and headline something, which is just insane. But anyways, everybody hated this. And here's the thing with Bad Bunny. How is it any different when Bad Bunny comes in and also wins a striking exchange against Matt Riddle, a trained professional UFC fighter with a good record? Everyone criticizes Shane McMahon coming in and going blow to blow with, like, you know, Matt Riddle and Kevin Owens and out wrestling people. But you got Bad Bunny in here putting a destroyer on Matt Riddle. So I don't understand. If you're going to criticize the one thing, how can you not criticize the other thing? I know we all like Bad Bunny better, and Bad Bunny wasn't out there being the producer and putting himself over. It was more organic. Absolutely. But realistically, how is Bad Bunny mounting so much offense out here being a celebrity? Fun. It is more fun watching Bad Bunny pull this stuff off than Shane McMahon, which just kind of reads as despicable and stupid. So yeah, it gets really bad when Shane McMahon hits this thing. And then afterwards, we got Randy Orton to come out. Now, I hear there was some controversy there where Shane was upset because how the hell can you be upset coming out at 28 instead of 29? I don't understand, but apparently he was. And then Brock Lesnar is the big surprise at the end. Oh, it's Brock Lesnar. And there's no surprise at that point. We know that Brock Lesnar is winning this thing. It's a revenge angle between him and Roman Reigns. It's Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Again, you know, for like the, 100th time? I don't know. The end of this really brings it down for everybody. And it got Shane McMahon fired, this whole thing. So, but I can't give it a 1. I got to give it a 2 because it did entertain me. I was enjoying this so much more than the Women's Royal Rumble. Not as much as I enjoyed Edge versus Miz with their. That was just a good match with good storytelling and good spots and good representation for everybody. So I can't give this thing a 3 or a 4. Nobody could. Most people are giving this thing a 1, and I totally get why this Royal Rumble is as hated as it is. It totally makes sense. People call this the worst like WWE pay-per-view of all time. I don't know if that stands up. You gotta let me know. Is there a show worse than this? Which one should I check out next? Let me know down in the comments below. There's a lot of other great videos on this channel, so make sure you check them out. And grave diggers, keep digging.
Stop what you're doing, baby, and follow Mr. Hargrave from parts unknown, if you will, baby.
I've seen the demon's face.
Mark joined one half a private party, say what up to the grave diggers, and keep doing your thing.
On my knees in praise of the horrible things that took her away.
Watch another video or the curse.